because we're good people. Doesn't mean we won't kill you. 5 of them aren't back in an hour. I'll put a knife in the base of your skull.
What's going on, guys? Matt back again with the season 2 finale. Season 2, episode 13 review, entitled Beside the Dying Fire. Alright, this was the season 2 finale. We knew it was going to be crazy how the last episode ended with Shane dying and then the herd right there about to come and take over the farm. So like I said, well, this one kind of starts to show you how the herd kind of got there. They show they're in Atlanta. They're showing them a bunch of walkers, and then remember the helicopter from season 1, that very first episode when Rick thought he saw a helicopter. Apparently, there's the helicopter again. It flies over and attracts the walkers. So they all kind of start herding up and walking, trying to follow it, I guess. And then, like I said at the beginning, it just shows all these walkers, hundreds of walkers walking together, and they get like right outside Herschel's farm, and then you hear the gunshot from the last episode whenever Shane shot his gun when Rick had stabbed him. So then they're coming, towards the farm, and it starts with Carl. He's asking Rick, what happened? Did y'all get attacked when you and Shane get attacked by walkers? And, what happened to Shane? And why did he turn or whatever? And before Rick can explain what had happened, they notice all the walkers coming for him, from behind. So they have to take off. Meanwhile, at the house, Daryl and everybody are out, and they see all the walkers coming. So they're basically trying to figure out what they're going to do. They're going to abandon the farm or what they're going to do. And, Herschel basically says, this is my farm. I'll die here. And, so they're going to try to defend it. And, take out as many as they can anyways. So Daryl said, basically Herschel says, I'll die here if I have to. It's my farm. And Daryl says, good as night as any, I suppose. So they round up. Daryl gets on his bike. He gets his little revolver, and then he's out, shooting walkers. And there's one truck with T-Dog and Andrea, and they're shooting walkers, driving around shooting walkers. And in the Hyundai, it's Maggie and Glenn. And like I said, they're doing the same, trying to take out as many walkers as they can. Rick and Carl end up getting to the barn, and they end up locking it, and they're trying to figure out what they're going to do. They end up actually letting all the walkers in because they're going to try to set them on fire. They have a plan. So they let them all in. They get to the top of the little platform of the barn, and Carl drops a match on probably like 30, 40 walkers and sets them on fire, and everything's kind of cool. And Jimmy, which is Beth's boyfriend, he gets in Dale's RV, and he's driving in around, and Daryl tells him to go back around the backside of the building or the barn because Daryl sees it's on fire, and he probably thinks it's Rick or Shane or somebody trying to signal him to help him out. So Jimmy drives the RV back to the backside of the barn, and Rick and Carl are able to jump on top of the RV to get down and get away. But in the meantime, the walkers get into the RV and they kill Jimmy. They devour him. Like I said, the whole episode is just pandemonium, basically with the barn, the farm just getting taken over. Like I said, on the way out, Patricia ends up getting eaten as Beth and Lawyer trying to get away with her. All commotion and everything. Everybody ends up leaving in separate vehicles. Maggie and Glenn, they get out of there once it just gets too much. Carol gets saved by Daryl, so she's on the bike with him. T-Dog, Beth, and Lori, they're in the same truck. They get out of there. Andrea ends up getting out when they were trying to initially save Carol. She gets stuck, and you see her waving, trying to get Rick's attention. When it's Rick, Carl, and Herschel, they end up driving off in the red Suburban. But she ends up getting left behind, so she's fending for herself. Basically, it shows her later on in the episode. She's running through the woods, trying to get, because she actually gets the bag of guns that were left behind that Rick initially had in the first season. And she's running through the woods, exhausted. You can tell it looks like it's the next morning when it shows her, and she's just, she's about to be out of bullets. She's spent, and look like she's about to just get eaten. And then out of nowhere, Michonne, the initial arrival of Michonne, she slices the head off of the walker, and she's got her 2 pets behind her, and she has her hood up and everything, so very mysterious looking, but she saves Andrea, which we will get into in season 3, where that's going to lead with Andrea and her. Anyways, Rick and Herschel and Carl, they go back to the highway because they figure that everybody would meet back at the highway where they initially broke down, and he thinks that would be the best spot to meet up with everybody. And sure enough, it is. Daryl and Carol and T-Dog and everybody, they end up all showing back up there, trying to figure out what they're going to do. And they basically say, they're going to try to just find, some kind of safe haven. They just got to try to stay off main highways and stuff to avoid walkers and stuff. So they leave and everything. They end up having to stop because the Suburban Rick and them are almost out of gas. So they pull over and they set up a little temporary camp for the night so they can get through the night. Then in the morning they're going to try to go and siphon gas, or try to find some gas or whatever. And around the campfire that night, everybody's kind of panicking. Carol and Maggie, they're all like, they don't want to stay there. They think they don't want another herd to blow through, and they're just kind of like, we got to go. They're panicking. And Rick basically gives his big speech, about, they're basically, Carol's like, we need to do something. And Rick, basically tells him, I am doing something, keeping this group alive together, and he basically tells them how it is, if you think you can do better than me, there's the door. Go ahead and see how far you get, Basically just throws down the rules, like, if you're going to be with me, you got to go by what I say. Like he said, he basically told him, if you stay, this isn't a democracy anymore. So, he basically tells him how it is. He ends up telling him that he had to kill Shane. Because Shane tried to lure him. He killed Randall, tried to lure him in there to the woods to kill him. And basically he just let him know what had happened. And he also lets them know that they're all infected. They all carry the virus. He basically told him that Jenner had told him at the CDC, but he didn't want to say anything until he knew for sure. And he knew once he had killed Shane and Shane had reanimated, he knew that Jenner was right. No matter how you die, you will come back as a walker. So that was kind of a cool revelation that they told us about in this episode. The end of the episode is they shows them at the campfire after Rick's speech, and the camera pans up, and then in the distance it's a preview of the next season, which we'll be getting into. It's the prison off in the distance. So that was pretty cool reveal to kind of show you what's next on the next season. So like the prison's a big part of the comic books. So like I said, all in all, not too bad of a finale. They had a couple casualties trying to get off the farm. They lost Jimmy and Patricia, and so. But not a main character really though. Except after 2 episodes in a row, I don't think it afforded any more main characters. But anyways, like I said, all in all, not a bad finale and a good setup for the next season with the prison and everything. And we know in the next season you're going to get the governor, because that's about the same storyline for the comic. So anyways, like I said, not too bad. Like I said, I appreciate y'all checking this out, and I'll be back soon with start on the season 3 reviews, on the throwback reviews. Appreciate y'all checking it out. Thanks so much.
Welcome to Woodburn.